the 2.0, there is too many people working for free out there.
Yes.
Working for free, faking their life for a platform that doesn't care about you. I feel like some people are more precise and applicated into how they look online than how they must look in the real life.
Hello everyone and welcome back to NewForum Episodes. NewForum provides inspiring creators, visionaries and investors to spark conversation on new perspectives on the topics of crypto, the metaverse, NFTs, Social 3 and DAOs.
NewForum is powered by Newcoin Foundation and provides humanized and organic ways for thinkers to coordinate in order to ensure the conscious and ethical growth of a new web, embedding the values of care, freedom, and creativity. Today's episode focuses on an incredible and fabulous entrepreneur, owner of BAF Media, Pull Letter Magazine, France, UK, Doppel Magazine, a French biannual publication about fashion, art, and culture. Hello, Artür. Thank you for joining us today. We're super honored to have you on today's episode. Hi.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
So Artür, could you tell us a bit about yourself and your work as a publisher?
So basically, me as a young 22 years old boy, I have decided to run several magazines because first thing is I love image. I love everything that relates to marketings and imagery and how it actually relates to the crowd that is out there. So I started with one magazine, and then I really understood that having one magazine was not really what I was meant for. I'm more into collecting this sort of collection of things and being able to play with different type of offers throughout like all the things that I do. So some of our readers will be more interested in the Pull Letter UK, some more in the Pull Letter France, some more into Doppels, because for me, my job is to provide information, quality, and image. And nowadays, most part of the people want to do it in one block, but not everyone is able to travel, transport, and move with these type of thickness books. You know what I mean?
Wow, Artür, you're 22. Only 22 years old and you've already achieved so much. That's something. I'm wondering, what's your inspiration?
I think there is part of my inspiration that comes from my background. So probably since I've been working in fashion and knowing and being in fashion since 2012, I guess you may know there was not a lot of POC out there. So obviously, if you want to make something, to my parents and to me, they always ask me like, why don't you start with like working for Vogue, working for these publications and whatever. And I was like, probably because the message that they're giving is getting lost a little bit. So I'm not interested in contributing to this. I want to have my own thing, not just to do whatever I want, but it's more because I need people of my carnation, of my community, being able to see themselves doing these type of things. Because let's be honest, I don't know, it's without any pretension, but in Europe, to not say across the world, I don't know a lot of Black people that owns publishing and owns publication. Maybe they are, and I haven't met them, so I'm sorry if I'm gonna say so, but so far, it's an industry that is mainly Western, you know?
Right.
So it's more like, even if we have like high position, it's very rare that we own this. So for me, being able to have all of these things was first thing like the ability to speak my own truth and have my own message, my own vision. Second was being able to work with people that I want to put trust in and develop and see grow. And third of all, it's for my community, because I know so many people just think that it's going to be complicated for them for doing it. but I try to make it look as easy as possible. As long as you want it, as long as you're determined, as long as you put yourself in the right shoes, in the right situation, you can do it.
I love that you're such a role model for so many people. The concept of ownership, you know, you're putting out your own magazine and you just took the initiative to really, you know, build your own legacy. I really think that it's really inspiring for our audience.
Yeah.
So I was wondering.
I actually wanted to add that like representation really matters, and definitely you touched on a lot of truth, I'd say. And for you to, like Joyce said, you know, take that initiative with that intention, with that true inspiration to begin something like this, I think it's really inspiring for me as a Black, you know, woman as well, and for, you know, for many of them who kind of like who want to get into this industry, but they just sometimes don't know how to, because they don't really see themselves being represented a lot, you know. And so what you're doing is, it's super fabulous, and you know, you have our support, and we're excited to see where it goes. Yeah.
Thank you.
So we are wondering, what is something, you know, when you're doing your work that you like to avoid?
When I do my job, if I want to avoid something, is I don't know, because first of all, I'm not a person that writes the emails. I know I should not be saying this, but usually if I arrive in the email, it really means that there is a problem. Not because I'm lazy or whatever, but it's more because I pick the people in order to see them growing and doing their job. So if I pick a creative, the creative have obviously the obligation of telling me what he's gonna do. But my leadership is, if I pick you, it means that I trust what you do and what is your job about. So you do you come back to me and I will just say, I was right. So usually the only thing that I will avoid is actually trying to put too much of my opinion into the creative job, because my decision stopped at the moment I picked these people, because I knew what they would be doing.
Wow.
And I will know the result already.
And you give them space to grow and also take the initiative. I love that, you know, they have to learn that, you know, it comes with a responsibility, and that they use their energy to, you know, show up to the spot. And I think that's it's a good way to teach people and to, you know, keep people accountable. Definitely.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know,
it's very important, because most part of the creatives and other publication, I see like a lot of people getting taught like, you have to do it like this, like that, and that. And to me, if I would say this to a photographer, it means that I want him to do what I can't shoot. You know what I mean? Everybody has his job. If you pick this photographer, it means that you like this photographer job and that you want this photographer print with this photographer point of view.
Right. Right. Yeah, there's a lot of micromanagement going on, and especially with like creativity, if you're being micromanaged, you know, and you feel like there's this pressure or shadow over you all the time, it sort of retards creativity. So I think that I really admire and I love your approach, you know, because once you hire the person, it means that you trust that person and you trust that they can do their work, you trust their ability. And I think that feedback is great, but you're allowing this person to really grow, and you're allowing them to be the best they can be. You know what I mean? In the creative space. And I'm actually wondering, so aside like avoiding the things you're avoiding within your workspace, how about what's happening in the world, like happening around you in terms of like trends or, you know, anything like that? What are you avoiding that is happening around you, your society at the moment?
I think what I would avoid the most in society is talking bullshit on Instagram.
I remember you once said your privacy really matters to you a lot.
Yeah,
it's
also like me being in the forefront, like in the front of things. I'm not really interested in that. If I do the publisher job or if I do all these things, it's because having my name in a magazine is very nice, but if this name can be at the end of it, I'm also very happy because I don't like to be in the front. I'm a very discreet person. I have a very small circle. I like to keep it low key as much as possible. Then the main problem is that every time I say this, people think that it's not true because if you see me, it's like, you know, it's noisy when you see me arriving.
Right.
I think I love that attitude that you put your work first and you really care about what you put out there, and you can still have an extrovert personality here and there, and be yourself, but you don't have to be in the spotlight all the time. You let your work speak. So
Exactly.
regarding that, you touched a bit on social media, and we want to know in the audience also, how does social media influence your work? And also on that note, maybe what would you like to see improve or change within the social media space?
I think the way the social media influenced my job is it's more like I'm able to see other people's work, other people visions quite quickly. Like every day I'm searching for brand new talents, brand new photographers to see who's working with who did what, to see exactly what I can expect if I reach them. So it's very, I think the way it influenced the most my job is really trying to see what has been done, what's not to be done, and what have to be done in the future. How can we make it better? And how can we push this person to go beyond the idea? Because obviously most part of the creatives are showcasing their job on Instagram. But for me, there is something that is still lacking because I know for sure that some of my people will feel very, very down if one of their work is not getting as much likes as they were expecting, which is to me quite weird because I'm not a person that cares so much about the likes, but some people do. And I think that the social media should try to find a way to reward someone's engagement instead of just having this like thing.
Yes, totally agree. We at NewCoin, and also with our app New Life, we have this internal thing that we like to call proof of creativity, where instead of judging by the quantity of the content, we judge by the quality of the content. So what do you really like about this picture? Is it the styling? Is it the, we think a lot about curation and how things are put together. So definitely we want to see that improve as well. And it's great that you also realize that I mentioned that, because I think there's a lot of people who would love to see their work valued, and and that's what a lot of creators struggle with, I guess.
Yeah, and I wanted to add that like there are all these like creators creating value, like you said, on the various social media platforms, and yet like these social two worlds have its flaws, and there's been a strong demand for equitable platforms that really enable not just the top 1% of creators to maximize revenue, but really the long tail of creators that the social 2.0 platforms haven't been fair to, because of the algorithm bias as we're speaking on. And so we really, really hope that the social 3.0 platforms will bridge these gaps. And I mean, that's our hope, because it's a shame that, people's life and everything has been boiled down to just the amount of likes that they get. It's heartbreaking. Yeah. I mean, I have a bunch of friends who have stopped posting their work because of that, and I actually stopped creating and posting it online because I'm like, okay, just like 3 likes, it kind of affected me, and I didn't think it would, but it did. And eventually I'm like,
no, but it does. It's just human at some point, because
you're human. Just like the like sort of determining the value of your content, it's not right, so you had a thought.
It's just something like, it's very human to feel like when you put something out on a platform, in your head, it's this platform has so much people seeing each other's job. Why would my job not be as seen as these other people's jobs? This is how mainly people will take it, and this is what I think is getting the social 2.0 problematic, because some people do not think about the fact that it's an algorithm, it's not periodic, there is a lot of things behind that humans that itself doesn't know. But the result is that, like you or like your friends, some people will just surrender and stop posting because they don't see
your content,
because
of the algorithm.
Exactly. I mean, you put in so much work to create something, and it's sort of just been pretty much just belittled to the amount of likes that one gets. And yeah, definitely we hope that improves. And so
I also can imagine that you as a publisher, you put so much work into these photo shoots and like campaigns and everything, and then after you published, it's like, okay, like people are already expecting next thing. Or even with fashion, like you put out so much work, and then 2 months later, like they are waiting for the next collection, and that can be
it's very demanding. But at some point, like for my part, I don't really care about the likes, because at the end of the day, it's the same way that I work for my magazines. It's more like, it's a message. It's an image with a message. I don't need 3,100 people understanding. I just need people that I wanted to reach to see that's pretty. And at this level, my job is done.
Right. And I remember we spoke to you the last time, and you mentioned something about you have like the prints, and then there's the hard copy, and then there's the correct me if I'm wrong, like you have like a specific amount of copies that you actually have in the stores, or accessible for your clients. And then I would love if you could touch on that a bit. I found that concept really interesting.
So the way that we are working is basically, we don't want to overproduce, because in the press industry, there is a lot of people that have a lot of copies printed, but it's just because they want to touch the mass. There is nothing bad as being part of the mass. It's just that for me, every images, any magazines, any sort of medium that you build or create is determined and done for a proper class of people. So every time you make a project, you can't start this project by saying, okay, I want everyone to be part of it or everyone to understand it. You need to have your little niche of people that would stand up, go, and show engagement. And the problem is that many people are failing in this thing because they don't understand that. It has no point to create so much imagery and so much things and project if it's to please everyone. A message can never be pleased by everyone, and a message can never be received by everyone. So for us, we print a certain amount of copies that we know our readers gonna buy. If it's not for the readers, it has no point for me to be printed.
Right.
Exactly.
So there seems to be this sustainability idea. I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, but you're saving some trees out there. That's really great.
It could be sustainable, but it's really about it's those three things. First of all, why would you spend more money than what's needed just to show people on the ground that you printed a lot?
Right.
I don't do this. It's not needed. It's gonna cost you more money, and where to stock them anyway? Where to stock them? And also, it's bad for stockists to still have your magazines when it's next season already. It's so bad. From what I know, every time we drop a magazine, once the season is over, they already don't have the magazine no more. So I'm happy.
That's awesome. So you move with purpose, like you just have a goal and then you work towards it to achieve it, and everything else doesn't matter. I really love that mindset of yours. That's really great.
Our audience would love to know, what do you think, or what is your experience so far within like the crypto space? Have you been part of any DAOs, or what do you think of NFTs? There's a lot of things going on right now, and I bet you have your opinion about it or experience with it.
I think it's such an interesting and little scary thing, but I think I like it. It's just part of, I was too young to discover when internet arrived, when the Wi-Fi came up. So I think that what is happening right now with the crypto, the NFTs, all these things, should probably be as the same moment as when the Wi-Fi came up, when the connection came up, when the first iPhone came out. I think it's from the same level. So so far, I don't have any, like, I have a lot of friends that are now like doing these things, because on the side I also work in finance. So obviously we are aware of like these brand new wells thing with the crypto, the NFTs, and all these placements that can be done. But so far I'm too debutant yet to say that I have experience, but it's something that is really interesting to me. So I'm low-key reading stuff. I'm reading about it. I'm trying to see how to, even for my business, trying to link it up and like jump in the train at the same moment that the progress is coming.
That is amazing. You're staying informed and you're not afraid to, explore these new business opportunities and models. I think we are all in this space right now figuring things out, even from the technical side, how NFT and also with the blockchain, how everything is working. But I think, like you said, it's just in the beginning, people are hesitant, but then, it will just stay and we will see where this will take us.
And I was actually thinking, like, I remember reading, and as we're all learning, right? We're still learning to figure out where this is going. And I remember reading that, like, whenever we post something on the internet or we copy and paste any file, it's sort of like a copy is made, right? And there's pretty much no ownership. And when we put stuff on the social media platforms, we think that, oh, it's our data or whatever, but in the end, we don't know what's going to happen with this data. We don't know if something happens and the platform decides to delete your account completely, they still have access to this data. So I think the amazing difference with NFTs is that you're not copying and pasting ownership or losing control of your work, but instead you get to own digital media assets in the same way that you can own a digital currency asset like NewCoin. So it's definitely incredible, and we're looking forward to where this goes. Yeah.
And who knows, like your future images might be NFTs, like, and be traded for a lot of money.
I know. I was already thinking about it. I was like, but you know what? I think the main problem, like on my side, it's if we get to the NFT point on an editorial, for example, how do we cut the benefits?
Right. These are the challenges that we in the team think about, with smart contracts and how people can get paid, like how the percentage splits and things like that. These are the things that our developing team thinks about and works on. And it's definitely something right now in the creative industry that is not super present as well, because some people get paid a lot, some people maybe get like a little cut. And I think in the future we have to think about these things more and think about the equal pay for people and that people get paid for their work. Definitely.
Yeah, and I wanted to add that, like Joyce said, at NewCoin, we care about the overall economy, right? Economy value. So for instance, there's the crypto space and then there's the real world. How do we combine these worlds together to bring value, right? Economic value to the world, to everyone? Because even like selling or trading an NFT, you're pretty much making money for yourself in the end, right? It's just, crypto space, real world space. So we are really interested in combining these two worlds, right, to create value, economic value, and everyone benefiting in the most ethical way as possible. So yeah, it's possible, and we are gonna get there eventually. So speaking of NFTs and crypto space and all of that, I'm wondering if you've thought about the future of the metaverse and how it will impact your industry and your work as a publisher, producer.
I think it will only push me to be more onto that precisement, like being more precise in what I do. Because obviously, as soon as money is involved, and more people are involved, especially that it's new. So if it's new, it means that the efforts needs to be way harder. You know what I mean? It's like a lot of people will just try and go and do the same thing that they used to do. But I know that it's from 2.0 to 3.0 to 3.0. So basically you're forced to evolve, forced to see the thing different in a different way. So for me, it will be more of a challenge than a problem.
Right.
And I think I'm completely ready. I just need to know more about it. But as soon as I know about it, I think that it will be the same way that many people manage now to have Instagram. There should not be these much differences. If this exists, it means that most part of the people are able to use it. It just needs to be curious and bold.
So right now, like you said, we're at a high risk and the knowledge is still quite low, and we're trying to bridge that gap as well. And as you said, when the resources become more accessible and the knowledge is more spread, it's going to be more adaptation from these business models. But like you said, the risk is really high. You're not sure what you're tapping into, but slowly over the next few years, I think it will play out and there will be a lot of people who will benefit from it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And for creatives, it's definitely going to open this new world of possibilities, more innovation. And I mean, I can't even imagine, like anything that you can dream of or visualize can be possible in this world, and maybe it could be sustainable. I mean, there's that concept of sustainability, so that's really good. I mean, what I personally I worry about is the fact that people don't get stuck in this world, in that meta world, because we're living in a time of COVID and there's a lot of social distancing happening, so we're already like a sort of we're already living in this space. Well, people are seeking like sort of refuge in internet online stuff, right, activities. And so if there's an improved version of it, why not? So the concern is like, how do we find the balance, to
I think to get the balance, most part of the people would need to, all the efforts that they put on the metaverse world, they need to have the same, or if not the double, in the real life.
Exactly.
Because that's something that some people don't do, is even now with Instagram, I feel like some people are more precise and applicated into how they look online than how they must look in the real life.
Wow.
So I think that some people would just need to readapt how they think. But for creative, I think that is such a good way, even for them to address to some people that maybe it's gonna bring them money, because this is what the creative don't have, or like maybe looking for. The life doesn't pay the rental.
Of course. And Artür, you were sharing your last thought on this, finding the balance between like projecting yourself digitally and then the real world, and trying to find that balance. Did you have any last thoughts on that?
No, it's like I told you, I really do think that the people that will struggle with it are the people that right now already put much more effort on how they look on the socials than how they really look in the real life. Like for my part, what you see on the ground is actually what you get in the front of you, because it's just like it's no play, it's no, obviously the difference between the gram and the real life is that you cannot have problem via the picture. You know what I mean? You don't know what this person is having, if this people is sick, if this people, you cannot know. So this is the only piece of control that you have. And some people are doing it great, but I still love my real life. I love being able to, hug my people, see my people. But I think that the difference is between the 2.0 and the 3.0 is that the 3.0 can bring money. The 3.0 can bring you other people. The 2.0, there is too many people working for free out there. Working for free, faking their life for a platform that doesn't care about you.
Yes. Thank you for pointing it out. You nailed it on top.
You nailed it.
Really. yeah, let's not forget to, real life, real people, and also deep work in business and relationships, So I was wondering, Artür, maybe you could say, what are your current business focuses and what can we expect from you next?
Right now, I'm trying to decide exactly where we are going, because I work in finance, I work in publishing, but I feel like there is more to do. So I need to decide how to establish myself, because obviously every title that I have as head of publisher is because I have 3 publications, but I want to see what's the next step. So I don't know, maybe I will own a holding with different businesses, with scouting agency, magazines, anything that will please me, obviously, or like would just make me having a little bit more of fun. Because as you may know, working in fashion can be funny, but it's also a lot of stress and a lot of nerves.
Definitely.
So for my side, right now, I'm just looking for something that would balance the stress that I have in my 2 jobs.
The future definitely looks bright for you, Artür, and we're excited and looking forward to see where it's gonna go. And I agree with you that finding that balance in your workspace or your career path, and just finding other things you love, you enjoy, but then it's like less stressful, to balance everything you're working on. So it's really nice that as a leader, as a founder, as a person, you think about all these things, and your values are clear, and we admire them, and I remember when you mentioned the thing about you hire someone and then you just let them do their work. Like, I was like, wow, how many bosses, would do that? Actually, we are at NewCoin. We also have an amazing, I would say, CEO who is really like open to allowing us to be innovative and to take initiative. So we definitely appreciate that.
Other leaders, definitely.
Yes, leadership by example. We appreciate that. So you've said a lot of amazing things, but I'm still wondering if you have any last thoughts, if there's something you'd like to leave with our audience, because we have amazing audience and listeners, listening to us today. If there's anything you want to share.
I just think that people need to stop being scared of what they will call what the people will say, because there will be always more people to say sorry it didn't work than people to congratulate you at the end of the journey. Know what I mean? It's very important for some people to understand, if you don't do it for yourself, nobody's gonna do it for you, because the people are already waiting to say sorry it didn't work. Oh, sorry, but maybe next time. Oh, maybe you needed to wait. Maybe that wasn't your time. No, your time is now. You need to decide now what you do. If you decide now to work in 1 year, that's okay, but at least decide it. Don't let the time decide for you.
Yes, you're setting the standards, you're setting the values, and you decide your path. I love that energy, Such a role model. Yes.
So make your decision and go with it and be strong. Yes,
exactly.
We love that. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a super fun episode. We learned so much from you. We love your drive. We love your energy. We love how fabulous you are on top of it all.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering where our listeners can find you on your social media platforms. I'm sure they will love to follow you, see what you're about, and get more inspired by you.
Hopefully. Well, if you just want to find my Instagram, you just tap Ich bin Cotillionarus, or you go on the Google and you just tap Artür Vandeburen, and you will find it. My magazines is full letter, so any full letter that you find, it's mine, France and UK. Then the other one is Doppel, and the last one is BAFP Medias.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Artür.
Thank you guys so much for being part of today's forum. If you also want to get more involved in our community, make sure to follow us on Instagram. We are newcoin.nco, and we also leave the link to our personal Telegram group where we share all the insight of the community and everything is going on in the cryptos and fashion world. So thank you guys so much for being part of today's episode, and we see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.